Welcome to the show. I'm Lee Michaels, and we have a special show for you tonight. All six of the guys are here, and we are fired up, lit, and ready to go. We were clowning in the green room prior to coming on live, and let me tell you something. These guys they're ready tonight. They really are. And I want y'all to just check this out, okay? New mic, new mic, new mic. And I'll tell you more about that after we get the show started. Let's bring in the gang. Hello, Chris Bass. And he's got a new mic too.
Oh my! It's like new Mike Central, a boom shakalaka to you, old guru, to the rest of the brethren in broadcasting. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm happy and alive, you know? So, can I tell the people the story?
Yes, you can.
Okay. You see this microphone, ladies and gentlemen? It was a present that was given to me today. Yes, a gift from a fellow broadcaster. That guy, where is he? Over here.
Yeah.
That guy sent me this microphone. He and I were talking just a few days ago. What, 3 days ago, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I shared with him because he has this mic. It is a Heil, Heil, PR77D, which is a replica or an old microphone that RCA used to put out. It was called a DX 77. And was it 77D? I think it
Correct.
was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of my favorite mics. In fact, there are a few of them still around that people are selling. And they go anywhere from, I've seen one as cheap as 750, but it was pretty banged up. And they go all the way up to $2,000 or $3,000. So that just tells you what kind of mic that is. So this is a modern day version of that microphone from the famous, fabulous, top notch microphone manufacturer of Heil. And I plan to have Bob Heil, the guy who created the company and all of these fine microphones, on the show one day, and we're going to just have some real tech talk. So I got this gift today from Chris because he and I were talking about it, and he owns the same microphone. Wait a minute. Okay, over here. And I love the shape of it, the style, and all of that. And it was going to be my next mic that I was going to buy. And Chris beat me to it. So thank you, Chris Bass. You are a top-notch broadcaster and a real friend, and you didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
Well, I can speak for anybody on the panel. We've been touched. You haven't touched us, but you touched us in a way where everybody here on the panel loves and respects you. And speaking for myself, you've helped me more than the average bear would. And I always said that if I'm able to repay this man in some way, shape, or form, God let me do it. And I did it. So that conversation we had was natural. We was tech talking about microphones. I said, aha, aha. Right. And I figured, okay, let me send the man this mic. It's a lovely microphone. Like you, I mean, look, man, I go back to watching tape, Johnny Carson and like the 50s to 60s, that type of style microphone on the desk. I was like, man, I'd love to give me one. And when I got one, I'm like, man, it's replica of what it was, like with a modern twist on it. And Hal just makes fantastic mics anyway. So it is more than my honor to surprise you with that gift.
Well, thank you. And it was, it brought tears to my eyes. My wife said, there you go buying stuff again. You don't need to buy no more microphones. What is it? I said, I didn't. And I hadn't opened it all the way up to read the little card in there to find out where it came from. And so, you got me out of trouble.
Good. Okay. Good, because you stay in trouble with your wife, Doc. I want to be more trouble than what you are now. So
she's like American Express. She says, leave home without it.
she can yell at me if she wants to. I'll take the hit.
You got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it. Right.
All right. Here's Dr. Ron. How you doing, Doctor?
I'm in the house. That's
like
it. That's all.
Punishment. There you go.
Yes, I'm in the house. Still glad to be here amongst my brethren. I look forward to chopping it up, on tonight. Man, we got some hot stuff going on tonight.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to tease your topic, and then I'll go back to Chris, and he can tease his.
A couple of weeks ago, I teased it a little bit, talking about the first Black person
Mm-hmm.
to get arrested from the January 6th incident. Okay, the insurrection. And his backstory is so incredible. I'm looking forward to dissecting his stupidity.
That it was.
Yeah.
And Chris, what are you talking about tonight?
Well, as I said 2 weeks ago, we've seen the unfolding situations of Kyle Rittenhouse in his trial. And so I called this The Fix Is In Part 2.
Nice. Okay, we're going to dig into that. And I know the entire panel would love to chime in on that as well. And missing in action last week, here he is, Mr. Orange himself.
I'm back today, though, baby. What?
All right. Buck Wild in the house like a child on punishment.
I need some applause. I need to.
Oh, you need applause? Oh,
I give myself applause. That's all.
All right. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's kind of applause I was looking for. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
And here's the professor. How you doing, man?
Greetings, my brothers. Glad to be here. And guess what? I made it to the green room before
you did, yeah.
On time.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
On time.
Yes.
We might have to pull your black card. Being on time and all.
Oh man.
It was good to have you in the green room, because when we start the show without you, we don't get the greeting that we look forward to from you, that is so passionate and friendly and warm and
profanity laced.
and all that. So
Just saying.
we appreciate you. We love you more than you know.
Bless you. Thank you.
And I didn't bring you in last this time, right?
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Speaking of last,
I'm okay with it, because right now I'm feeling very emotional, because just like Chris got you something, I got you something too, Lee, and I hope you really accept this, with all heart-giving filth.
Thank you.
I got your flashlight, motherfucker. This is what security guards use, when they monitoring around, when they got jobs. I wanted you to have one. I wanted you to have a flashlight.
Move along.
Yeah,
I have flashbacks.
It's black like you. It's about the length of your man size.
How do you know? How do you know?
I'm guessing, you know what I'm saying? Because when I've been around Lee, I never see a print in his pants, so I'm assuming that he might be,
It's because it's been beat down.
Why are you looking?
It was just a situation. You just in the room, and see.
Shut up.
Hey, Chris. The show went to shit, and it wasn't my fault this time.
You see,
you can blame that Negro over there.
Oh my God,
Lee, I just want you to accept this, just like you did that microphone. This is flashlight.
I appreciate that, but see,
it's black. I could have got you any other color, but
and it's very bright.
Yeah,
it's very bright. But see, the thing about that, Mike, I have flashlight back.
Yeah,
flashbacks. Because see, the only time I see the flashlight is when I get pulled over by the cops. So that one's kind of scary.
Which happens often.
Yeah. Well, you
be driving while black.
Neon light, spotlight.
Spotlight.
And Professor Reggie can relate to those terms right there. He knows where that's from.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Flashlight.
I got your flashlight, man.
That's right.
Thank you,
man. Put this next to Chris's gift, man. I'm gonna tell you, this will top that bullshit anytime.
Oh, hell no.
This will top that bullshit anytime. This is a motherfucking security guard flashlight. You see how you put, and then
I see you.
Yeah, you see, you do it with it, and you have to use your thumb. So you hit that with that thumb.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Now, Mike, let me throw this out there. Something real small, not big. You know,
Why are you talking about Lee like that? We not
know,
here to discuss this manhood like that.
Oh, damn.
he needs the microphone so that when he says "Let there be light," now you can flash.
There
Bam.
you go. Yeah. Yeah. It's all a part of the theater of the mind.
Well, I'm doing what normal black people do. You hate on other black people. I knew about the microphone, and it
we
took me a
all
lot of
Oh.
time. I
We all.
was searching through Walmart and Target and all the places trying to top this shit that Chris did. And I said, I got the ultimate. This gonna make Chris shit look like some bullshit. And Lee's wife will be very happy with me. You get the ultimate black flashlight, motherfucker.
There you go.
I do what we all do. We all hate on other black people.
Taking the petty Negro road.
Yeah, the petty
I'm
nigga.
telling you.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well,
See,
you know,
you didn't go think about that. I got him a flashlight.
Yeah, you did.
Black flashlight.
And no one has ever given me
got
a
you a
microphone or a flashlight.
Or
So
Or a black flashlight.
Or anything for that matter.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
can
it's a
pack
double
that
down
motherfucking
tonight.
microphone back up and go get Lee a black flashlight if you want to top my shit. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah, get a longer one.
and-
That's the only
and
way you
wait
can
a minute.
upstage that.
Look,
Well,
and-
this
and-
ain't gonna
and,
help you in bed, but I mean, I understand. When you put this up against your man, and you go, well, which one is longer? Is it going to be the flashlight? Or is it going to be you?
Or maybe it'll help his wife
Flashlight.
wife find it.
Yeah,
I
she'll
was-
find his flashlight this year quicker. Like, baby, I really enjoyed your flashlight last night. Your flashlight so good.
Yeah, he can find his way to the bedroom.
Right, exactly.
Is
No
the show
more-
over yet?
No more doing
Yeah,
it
no.
with the lights on when you got this, Lee.
Look.
When you got this one, you ain't got to do it with the lights on.
This is what the people miss after the show is over.
Right. Or before the show.
begins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With a lot, but it
Yeah.
usually has a lot more profanity.
Well,
backstage.
that's true.
Yeah, that's it.
a lot more. Makes it more
So-
funny too.
So let me pivot from the flashlight and the microphone gifts, and thank you to both of you. I appreciate
Thank you,
it. I
man.
really
Thank you,
do.
thank
It warms my heart and blinds my eyes
Yeah, without a doubt.
and make me sound better. So I'm happy.
Even though Mike's gift was totally fake, but that's
Yeah, right.
This is real. This is
That's the
plan.
real
This
deal.
is- This is the real deal.
That's
So
real
I give
thing.
you 3 days, and it better be at my doorstep. Okay.
Hey, this is coming right away. I'm having a security guard from Walgreens deliver this motherfucker.
He said from
You're too,
Walgreens.
you're too
Walgreens.
kind.
Yeah.
Too kind.
I
I
know.
don't know what to say.
I know. There's no
I'm
need to kissing up
speechless.
about this gift.
I agree.
Yeah, Chris.
See, now-
top
see-
this, Chris. Top this motherfucker right here, Chris. Top this motherfucker right here.
I just did.
I know, but you ain't supposed to admit it.
You damn right I'm going to admit it.
You
Cheap
lucky I
ass
can't flash
flashlight.
this in your- Where you at? If I find you, I'm shining just like this.
Don't make a false move.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Oh hell.
Well, see, after those two, I don't know what else to say. So, Chris, you want to take us into a serious topic, or do we have some other bovine you guys want to get into?
It's up to the rest of the panel with the bovine.
Right?
I think we're ready for something real.
Okay, so Chris, go ahead and kick it off.
All right, thank you, Guru, and thank you to the panel for the bovine preview.
That's right.
No problem.
All right, so here we go. So, as I said before, about the deal has already been sealed, as far as I'm concerned, with the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation. Wrapping up day 3 of the deliberation. Of course, we have no verdict yet. Some pinpoint things I want to go over, and of course, everybody out there respond in kind. So, MSNBC was banned from the Rittenhouse trial because of an MSNBC freelancer trying to take pictures of the juror. He was pulled over for a traffic violation near the jury van. Also, some points people have said outside the trial. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz said he would be willing to offer Rittenhouse an internship at his office if he's acquitted of murder. And the one thing actually we saw during this time, boys and girls, ladies and gentle peoples, 18 prospective jurors Rittenhouse was told to pick 6 numbers out of the bozo drum, what they call it, the tumbler. I have never seen this before, and I've covered talk issues going over 25 years and covering court situations. I've never in my life seen someone go into a tumbler and pick the jurors for his case. We're watching, well, if you didn't know what the hell white privilege was until now, this is a prime example. I always wondered what would the university and colleges talk about in real time in certain law offices and law classes. How, as a professor of law, how can you explain it to your students? How do you break that down? We're talking about law being fair and justice and blind and everything else. How can you explain that? It is impossible. Because since day one, the judge, Bruce Schroeder, has put the template into place. You can't use the word victims. You could word, looters and rioters, and let the lawyers in the opening statement again use the N-word more than once. The judge already did not like the media, so what does he use his power for as well? To ban MSNBC, because he did not like the media in the first place. And it bothers me because we're unfolding a situation where he can possibly walk, meaning going back to Rittenhouse. If he doesn't walk, he'll do some light time. Only because of the fact that we see this unfolding and it's not going in the direction of what justice should be. It's what justice as they should have. You know who they are. Whoever's in power divvies out all the privileges. That's through life itself. You could be in your household back in the day. Who has the power? Your parents had the power. When you became a parent, who has the power? You did. In any foundation, any situation, the power is who the person who's running it, how they access it, how they divvy it out. We're looking at 4 cases now combined with Rittenhouse. So we'll go over Rittenhouse. Again, being the teen who joined a vigilante group guilty of murder. We also have the trial of Ahmaud Arbery. Can armed white men in a pickup truck rely on citizens' arrest the claim to an unarmed black jogger? Number 3, Charlottesville. The organizers, remember that? They were liable for the deadly Unite the Right rally back in 2017 in Charlottesville, Virginia, resulting in the violent death of 32-year-old Heather Heyer when Jane Fields, who was among the Unite the Right protesters, ran a car through the crowd of counter-protesters. Recently as Julius Jones, Oklahoma, the black man given clemency from the death penalty, and there are still questions about his guilt. And also we're throwing as a bonus, the exoneration of Muhammad A. Aziz and Khalil Islam, the 2 men convicted of killing Malcolm X, who each spent more than 20 years in prison. When it comes to us being on notice, there's never a fair trial for us because we're guilty before we even walk to the courtroom. We're guilty because the skin we're in. And will we have a fair trial in any situation? I dare say no, all across the boards of trials I just mentioned.
I think you're right. And we'll see what happens. I mean, the outcome of all of those trials that you just mentioned is going to be interesting. What could happen here? Okay, first of all, in the situation up there in Wisconsin, there are no black people involved. So we're going to see how this turns out on white crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 white men were killed by the young 17-year-old at the time. What I don't understand about this thing, and the judge has already given his position, is a underage young man has an assault rifle cross state lines. And as far as I know, I don't know what the gun laws are there in Wisconsin in terms of whether or not, is that an open carry state?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open carry. But don't you have to have some type of license to carry?
Yep.
You can carry it openly. So was he licensed in the state of Wisconsin?
Well,
The answer is no.
No,
yeah,
and let me put this point and then go back to the panel. Wendy Rittenhouse, the mother, should be on trial.
I agree.
First and foremost, you can't explain away to me taking a 17-year-old across state lines with an armed AR-15 rifle,
Right.
shooting up people.
I don't
You're
get
just
it.
as guilty as your son is, if not more.
But
Okay, I haven't been following this on purpose because it's been all over the news, and I don't really like following trials because they're long and drawn out. And I want to get to the conclusion. When you get to the conclusion, then you can holler at your boy. But I'm just curious because I think it was Lee who just said there's no black people involved. Why are we so interested in this? What would make this case so interesting, not just to us, but the general public across the country? What makes it so interesting? Because I don't find it interesting at all.
I think, and let's go around the panel on this, but I think that it's interesting because of the dynamics involved. You had a 17-year-old with an AR rifle and killed 2 people and walking around like God, like I'm supposed to be here and you shouldn't question that. So that, to me personally, that's piqued my interest.
His attitude is what you're saying.
But yeah, that and the balls, and think that it's okay in what he did. Now, his story is, well, I was there to help people in case they needed help, first aid and all that kind of stuff. You don't help people walking around with an AR-14 or 27 or whatever it is. That's not help. You're opening up Pandora's box. So as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be interesting to see the outcome. I'm 50-50 in terms of what I think is going to happen. I think he could get busted on some of the lesser charges, but he's not going to get nailed on the main one.
Anybody else find this case really interesting? I mean, and I just want to know why. That's all.
Well, it's the sucker punch of all sucker punches. You know, here's a situation where, you know, most black people say, well, if this was Black Lives Matter and this happened, this outcome would be totally different. And right now, there are people, a whole handful that are from the state of Texas where I live, that were involved in this, that did a lot more that probably will never be reported. But for some reason, to defer the message was the key to this disruption in the whole thing. Because see, if we can get people to start looking at this guy, this kid, carrying this AK-47 across lines, it takes away from the real conspirators. It's a trick. You know, we can spend the next 2 or 3 hours talking about this, but this is the quintessential trick of all tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get them to talk about that. You get them to talk about a black kid with his mother that crosses the state lines with this situation, and everybody starts to focus on this, and you get away. I mean, there's a lady that was from here. I think she owned a realty company, and there was another guy from here, and all these people are, they're white. Let's just call it what it is. This is not a prejudice statement. And the thing of it is, it's almost too hard to believe in one sense, but very easy to believe, because if you go back to the Black Lives Matter, if you want to make a comparison, you had white Americans scaling the Capitol building. Okay, this is like the crime of the century.
Come on, Mike. That was peaceful protest.
Yeah, peace of mind would never. You're talking about a place that houses the Constitution, that sets the rules and regulations on how we live in our country. It's the house of that. And so if you get this one opportunity, the thing that gets me is how does an African American find themselves in this position to take this heat? Because that's all it's going to do.
That's the next story, though, right? I mean, we're not on that topic yet, are we?
We're not on that topic yet, but I'm just saying we're well on that way. We're on that road. Because if this story gets the traction that they're trying to give it, when this was sent out by our team here for a discussion, I shook my head. I was like, I don't even know why we're talking about this, because it's another opportunity for us to be talking about something that doesn't make any sense, because it was 100 times one black that's being talked about for all of these white Americans who thought that the president directed them to go charge the Capitol, the home of our Constitution. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, I'm okay with that. But I don't see it. I just don't see the correlation. I'm not connecting the dots of how this becomes a story unless it's some kind of deterrent to what the real deal is.
Well, I think it is a news story, plain and simple. Whether we're interested in it or not, they're making it interesting because, like Elisa London is saying in the chat room here, and I'll place it up. This kid got lucky because the judge decided that the AR-15, 47,
Yeah,
AK-47 or AR-15?
AR-15.
AR-15. Okay, AR-15. The size of the rifle didn't matter. So, and it's only a misdemeanor anyway. But why do you throw that out?
Because the judge is trying to send a message that this is bigger than that. This is bigger. Why are you going to pick this kid, a black kid, to make a case out of this, to take all the attention on? I mean, just to see these people scaling.
This kid is not black. This kid is white.
Okay, well, white kid.
Yeah. Now, there's a theory that I've been hearing lately about this whole incident, this one and the one in Atlanta, that this kid is the poster child for the revolution. They want young 17, 18-year-old kids to be okay with arming themselves and going out dealing with black people that have an uprising or a campaign that they're protesting for. So they're sending a message that we got you. Even if you kill somebody, even if you go to trial, ain't nothing serious going to happen to you. So there's some merit to that. Because that's what happened.
That sounds far-fetched, though. It sounds really far-fetched.
It can sound far-fetched, but I'm with him 150%, and I'm sorry that I got that part. I knew something. It was something dealing with black in it somewhere, and all I knew was here's a kid that it's like, take the cameras off of the real criminals and let's put it on this kid and let's go down this road and let's let all these responsible Americans that own businesses around this country that did something really dumb.
Hold on a second. So Ron, you're thinking that that white people around the country are rooting for this kid, rooting for him to get off?
Yes,
absolutely.
They're protesting outside of the courthouse.
Yeah,
they had on yesterday a white gentleman showed up with his automatic weapon and full combat gear.
Sure did.
To protest outside of that courthouse in support of him. So basically, the sheriffs, told him he had to leave. Now his credentials checked out. He had all the proper credentials.
But that's just one person, though, Ron.
No, but you're missing the point. Okay. He showed up with his weapon in support of the trial for the young.
Yeah, like it was nothing.
Right. because there had been conflict back and forth throughout the trial, and the protest has been getting bigger and bigger. Now, the sheriff of that area has minimized it. He said, the people of Kenosha are not making a big deal out of this trial. It's people that came in here from other places.
I believe that. I can see that.
That are causing the trouble. But for us that live here in Kenosha, it's business as usual. Okay. Now, this is also the place where the officer who shot an unarmed black man and paralyzed him is also from that area as well. Okay. So it was a lot of conflict that was taking place in that area even before Trump got there, because Trump went there and stirred the pot some more. But this young man came all the way from Illinois with his mama, drove him because he couldn't drive himself all the way up there. She dropped him off in a hot spot. Okay, come on now. It's conflict going on.
Where's the mother's love in that scenario? I mean,
but
what
you
mother would
understand,
do that?
But now you see the poster child coming alive.
Yeah, I get it.
I just want to fast forward through all this until we get to the verdict. And when the verdict comes in, I'll be like, oh, okay. And then we'll move on to something that's more relevant to me and my community. That's all.
Gonna be no moving on.
Yeah, because it's what you said. It's an innocent, like you said. Let's move on to the other part. That's what this was done on purpose.
Right.
What do you mean?
Well,
just like Chris mentioned about the 3 black guys that's on trial down in Georgia.
You mean the white guys?
3 white guys.
3 white guys murdered a brother that was jogging.
Right.
Okay, for no reason. They just picked him out and said, okay, we're going to kill you today, because we think you did something wrong. Mm-hmm. And they used an old slave law that we're going to, citizens arrest, that was designed to capture and, kill slaves when they escaped from the plantation. Okay. And they shot him with a shotgun, unarmed black man. So
3
now
times.
These guys, now the defense attorney in that case, said, well, we don't want all these black preachers coming in here.
And that's the most interesting part of this whole thing with that particular trial for me, is that they said, we don't want no more black preachers. So all the black preachers, they might as well just ask the black preachers to come. Because of course they were going to jump up and say, oh, well, in that case, we're all coming. And
not only that, I was offended by the remark. I think the context that the defense attorney used was referencing Reverend Jackson and Sharpton as a mob,
right?
A black mob. So but these are all the code words, that mean something to that environment. Now, but here's where it all started. It started when that man ran for president back in 2015. He made it okay, popular, cool, and acceptable to be outrageous and in-your-face racist. Yep. The dog whistle was being blown all the time, and he was talking directly to those racist rednecks all over America. He woke them up and says, "It's okay.
Right.
Come on."
And that's why they've armed themselves.
That's right.
And they've told their children to arm themselves with the objective of doing harm to people of black and brown skin.
That's
and
right.
They are doing it. There are isolated cases of these things happening.
You got Alex Jones, you got Bannon, and a host of others who stir this pot all the time.
Yep.
And when Bannon went to that man who ran for president and said, hey, you're gonna need a solid base. The guy really didn't have a base. He had an audience from looking at him on television. making decisions. Okay, Ron, you're fired, and Reggie, you're hired, and Buck, you're fired, and Chris, you're hired. I mean, all of that, and they had all of that in there. It was exciting, because this guy's really smart, and he knows when to hire the right and the wrong people, and so on and so forth, which really was some BS in itself.
Right.
But at the end of the day, just when the country is at a level that technology, social media, and everything else is taking control. I mean, we got Google. Anything you want to know, you Google it. See, these guys were no more relevant into the conversation. You couldn't really even stir the pot of racism. There was nothing there to stir. And then all of a sudden you say, if you go and talk to them, and you tell them you representing them, and you telling them they're the lost Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Make America white again. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to attempt to bring in another screen here. I'm going to do a screen share. If I can get it right here. Okay. It's not letting me do this where I want it.
You need my flashlight?
While you doing that, hey, I really want to know what this man right here is thinking, because you've been sitting here quiet, Reggie. I really want to know what you're thinking.
Let it out, Reggie.
Come on.
I agree.
professor.
I've been watching him as well.
No. I can't. I get too emotional.
Well, that's exactly what I want. I mean, that's what we like you for.
Not tonight. I'm gonna be cool.
Oh, come on. Man.
Why are we talking about stuff that we already know about?
I said that in the beginning.
I said the same thing.
Let me address that. Let me tell you why I brought it up.
Okay.
First of all, we are in the brink, as far as I'm concerned, of a civil war. I think about my grandson. I think about my niece. I think about my nephew. I think about the future of us in this country. And it doesn't look good, as far as I'm concerned. I want to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. A situation like this, yes. But
you know what?
the future, let me finish, and then you have your time, Mr. Wild.
Okay. Reggie first. Okay.
So
I thought Mr. was in front of my name. How is he getting Mr.?
Because you had that flashlight bullshit. Let me finish. Yeah, your Mr. was stricken from the record.
Now you're master.
I didn't get a chance to tell you. Don't forget your thought. I didn't get a chance to tell you. This is also a microphone. But get back to what you were saying.
Well, Mr. Microphone back in the day.
Oh God.
Oh hell.
Go ahead, Chris.
Again, no, that's all right. I know I rock and roll down. The surroundings around you have to be understandable. That it could be somebody next door in your neighborhood that's packing, that has a certain point of view, that may not like you and never really care for you. Now, I know it sounds like gloom and doom, but it's reality as we know it. And so when I try to bring these topics, I think about, once again, a personal perspective, family. And family, of course, always comes first. So in the midst of of us being family here and family across the nation and beyond that, we should find ways to look after each other. And we should at least know our surroundings. So that's the reason why I brought it up.
Now, let me jump in right quick.
Well, hold on, Mike. Let Reggie speak.
Here's the professor.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Reggie, go ahead.
And base, I wasn't saying that. Why are we talking about that?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Thank you.
I wasn't. I'm not. I mean, what I'm saying is that we know the answers.
Okay.
History has a way of repeating itself, and it's no reason for us to be Macaulay Culkin it. Like we didn't know that this was going to happen. Because, and for me, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying nothing about any of that. But what if we were in power? Would this be the same thing? What if the roles were reversed? And so with the things that are being laid out, the question is, what are we going to do? Because we can talk about it. We can talk about it for days. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have not been looking at the news to see this. But and I think someone alluded to this on the panel already. What is the greater plan that the elite are actually trying to throw down on us? Because it's some big time confusion. So where are they going to come in behind all this confusion? So this is what I want to sit down and look at. So Bass said, well, look, they might be trying to set up this civil war, and something else might be happening. So with all of that, then we need to start embracing our young and schooling them in a different way as to not the first battle that we have to stop among ourselves in our community is that battle between old versus young.
Yes.
The segregation that we put down towards ourselves, this is what we have to eliminate. Because we all know the story, right? We all know the story that if some other people, and I'll just say it like this, if YT are fighting among each other and they see one of us, the letters Y and T, if you say it fast, will stop and they'll come after us. So when are we going to take that same mentality about ourselves? You understand? And when are we going to start looking out for each other? We can argue. See, we haven't got to the point where we can argue and then come together for the common good. We haven't got there yet.
Yep. Amen.
And I don't know if we'll ever be able to get there. But
I was about to say,
if there's something that we can do, that's the things that we should start working on. Like the way we carry on, we need to somehow that needs to be put in a bottle where people can drink it. You understand? So
we can't give up hope, and we have to keep moving forward and bringing some solidarity, some respect, and love for each other first.
Yeah.
Then I think we can move the ball down the court.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
And that goes back into what we've all been talking about all the time, right? We've all been talking about control of our messages. And so how do we get control of our messages to put out a different story? Because the stories that I would say our oppressor has on us is always going to have us going in different directions. Where is the message that's going to have us coming together in the funnel? But part of it is leadership.
Part of it, though, is leadership. We need some strong leadership to help pull us all in the right direction, in the same direction.
I love that book, but that's poppycock because a lot of our leaders have been corrupted.
And that's unfortunate.
They have been paid. And Dick Gregory would tell a joke when they would call and have Dick Gregory come down there, and then they would go and talk to, they would go and have to go and talk to the leaders or whatever. And so Dick Gregory would tell them, send me in there by myself. Don't just send me, y'all better come in there with me. And so here's the thing with our leadership. When was the last leader that we actually chose? Our leaders have been chosen by the media, but really a leader that's among us is supposed to come from us. And one of the last leaders that I understand that really came, they got him right away. His name was Fred Hampton.
Well, they get all of them, though.
And he was 21. They didn't even let him get past 2-1 because he was that powerful. And he brought up that fear. So, but that leadership wasn't chosen by the NBC, ABC, CBS, and the cable networks. So that's what a real leader is. Listen, I love Jesse, but Father Time is undefeated. I love Al. Father Time is undefeated. And so they keep selecting who's going to lead us. And so then, and then they throw the old versus young in there. And there's no cultivation of the new leadership that's going to Buck, if we go back 2 weeks and look at one of our shows, we fighting. Because you're going to stand for when we got to talking about the rap music and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
We were going to fight over that. One thing that we have to, listen, they have to understand that us in our age, we're set in our ways. But don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Listen to what we got to say. All we trying to do is just provide you some guidance because you have the strength as the young people. But when they can influence you and influence in the directions which way you're supposed to go, they can always control you.
Right.
But they use that French girl by the name of Monet.
Yeah, but
Well,
what? The problem though is that young people, I mean, if you really talk about a dividing line between young and old, whatever age you're talking about, let's just say it's 35. People under the age of 35, it's hard to get them focused on anything important because their head is buried in their phones and they're constantly on stupid shit like TikTok. And they just want to be entertained. Things that should matter to them really don't.
Okay,
all they care about is being entertained.
Okay, but why?
So what's the solution?
Yeah, why did it get that way? So where are it? See, this is what kills me is that all of a sudden, our youth become both the chicken and the egg.
Explain that, please.
We are out of the equation. Where is the connection? One of the things about living in old Africa, and I never lived there, but one of the stories that was told about how wisdom was passed to the youth is that the kids were always given to the elders, to the grandparents. This is where the wisdom was transferred because the parents had to work. They couldn't be with them. And so where are the old stories that we're given that are being given to the young people today? Okay, and you're right, Buck. They are lost in this maze of the cell phone and this new technology. So that's why Street News Now and any other thing that's available can come out. And in the home, we got to start telling, well, you don't have to be entertained all the time to learn something, It's got to be another way. And we're the ones who have to find that. We can't allow our oppressor to give us the keys to our own freedom.
Well, it always has to start with parents. Okay, for example, my female friend, she has a 13-year-old, okay? So when the 13-year-old comes home, he has a certain amount of time before, let's say, 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever. And then he's got to start getting his homework. And guess what? She takes his phone. Takes it. He don't have access to it no more. And when she first told me she did that, I was like, the poor kid. But you know what? That's parenting. And I think she's a little bit of a helicopter parent. Like she rides his ass like big time. And I only trip off that because I wasn't treated like that. I was given a lot of freedom because I was a good kid. Of course. See the little halo in my head?
But one thing
I'm saying it's a good parent. Parents need to take more responsibility for their kids and be better parents and be more in control of their kids' upbringing.
You got to pay attention to them.
All right. But one thing we cannot forget, in this story that we started talking about was that this kid at 17 had the mentality that he can take an automatic weapon and go up into a conflict situation on purpose. Wasn't drafted, wasn't requested. He went into this conflict situation on purpose with the mother's help, a parent. So in his household, they had been talking about how we need you to be strong and part of defending whatever they felt like they had to defend. So they armed themselves. Now I sent everybody out about a week or so ago a clip of an angry white tee, as you would say, Reggie, an angry white tee provoking other white tees to stir the pot to say, hey, we need to get them. And he used them words, them. You know, he was serious about keeping the anger and the violence stirred up in an attack mode. You know what I'm saying? So now, yes, I totally agree. We need to, and we said this on this show pretty much all of this whole first year that we was on the air. We got to tell our young people how to survive a police incident. You know, and we do this because we want them to learn that that could be a situation where they can wind up dead just in a simple traffic stop. You know, because if they do something that causes that officer that's stopping them to be alarmed, he can easily end their life. So yes, it is a series of information that we got to put out, but we also can't be sleep on the fact that these white kids are looking to arm themselves and to attack. They're looking to do that. And that's what they have done. And these incidents that Chris brought up are just a few of them. You know, and like you say, justice is not for us. You know, the entire justice system, like the one case that you mentioned about the Malcolm X brothers, they said they could have gotten those brothers cleared over 10 years ago if the FBI would not have sat on the information and the evidence. They sat on it and stopped the evidence from coming forward. And once that evidence was released, now these brothers were exonerated. You know,
Although
so
my guess is that happens all the time.
but it's not right, Buck. It's not right. You know, whether it happens or not, it's not right. I mean, we can go back and talk about every black artist that was persecuted by the FBI. I mean, going all the way from Billie Holiday to every one of them. I mean, you know, you can just start naming them, and the FBI had a file and a profile on them, and they drove them to early graves. Okay, you know, so it doesn't make it right, but we still need to be aware of what kind of battle we are in. Okay, what's our environment? See, in Chicago, you know, when we go out of our house, we see everything that's going on around us. We know about the prostitute on the corner. We know about, you know, the wino down the street because we see it.
And
We're
you be paying
aware of it.
attention to that, don't you?
Man, you have to. You know, and I mean, you know, I'm not being funny right now. I'm talking about that's awareness of your environment and your situation. Okay, we need to know what's going on so that we can be prepared for it when it begins to happen on a larger scale. Okay, like, you know, when they have forest fires, you know, and trees and communities are being burnt out. If you don't move, you're gonna get burnt up with the fire. So you got to go from one area that's not so safe to an area that is safe. You know, so but you can't be sleep on anything that's going on. Okay, this man showed up at the courthouse with a firearm because they had protesters on the other side, and he wanted to make sure that he had his weapon in order to defend the people that had the same views as he does. Now, none of the other protesters had weapons, you know, and then the sheriffs came out and told him, you can't have this weapon 1,000 feet from the courthouse. Now, they've been out there fighting. They've been breaking up skirmishes all through the trial. So the importance of this trial to some people is a match to light the fire.
Wendell Pierce. Yeah, y'all know that actor Wendell Pierce
Love him.
who played in The Wire,
Mhm.
and
Love him.
and he said something about gun laws. He said something to the effect that if the gun laws, if we would start, if black men start getting these guns and stuff, they would quickly start changing the Second Amendment and all that old kind of all that. And I'm not advocating any of that. Like arming up and trying to do battle. We have to do things. We have to do things on a greater level. We have to do things through our mind, and we have to do things through love. But I'm not saying to always turn the other cheek either. But there has to be a huge push towards certain laws to where is and y'all know I've said this a million times before, to where is that I want to deal with the human rights. I want to deal with human stuff, and all this black and white stuff. This just all that does, if we keep saying that, all that does is keep adding fuel to the
To the
fire.
fire. Oh, I agree. Man, Reggie, you said it right there. I
All,
totally
all,
agree.
all that does is keep throwing. But listen, but when I say that though, I'm not saying to not love ourselves either. I'm not saying that to love everybody else. I'm saying I think that we should love ourselves first. But then that definition of what loving ourselves mean, we have to reevaluate that. Because there's a lot of things in our community that needs to be fixed. We need
Yeah.
to fix ourselves big time. If we're going to try to stop some of the things that other people do to us, we got to make sure that we are fixed within ourselves first.
Amen.
We can't keep depending on govt, government, and all this other stuff to do things, because it's like you got a lot of garbage, in your neighborhood, right? And the garbage person comes on Thursday, but you got this pile of garbage on Tuesday, and you're gonna say, well, they're gonna come pick it up on Thursday. Pick the stuff up now and make changes on the stuff now. We got a military. Every one of our hoods has a military, and they're called gangs. They're called gangs.
Amen. That.
And all they've ever did was wage war against themselves.
Yep.
We have these militaries.
Or each other.
Yeah, called
Yeah,
gangs.
yeah.
And all
So how do we reverse that? How do we change the mindset?
And that is really a great question. I think if you're going to start, worshiping and going through all that stuff, every ethnic group have had these types of militaries or small gangs. So what they've done is went after political power. In the city of Chicago alone, at one time, there was an ethnic community that ran the police department and the city.
Still do.
Yes. And so there are other ethnic groups. So we have to engage in the American political process, starting in some of our own towns. I would think the best example would be for those towns that are predominantly of our color. We should make them one of the best cities in America. with economic power, and we need to become better examples for ourselves.
Well, I was thinking though, when you said that, I was thinking that maybe if we look at the cause of what causes people to want to join these gangs, right? And they always say when they talk to little kids, and I don't know how true this is, but this is what they say, that the kids feel a sense of belonging, like a sense of family that they don't get at home.
Right.
So maybe, and I say this all the time, that the solution to all of our problems in our community all start in the home.
Let me address this, what R. Michael Douglas said. He said, but Professor, we need to be more vigilant. But us loving everyone caused us to be in the situation that we're in now. I never advocated us to love everyone. My position has always been to love me first and to
love everyone, first. Meaning like all ethnic groups.
Yeah, because that's what the code words, diversity, and all those other things, those other new things that come in. But it's like our people. We've had at one point, and most of us have done this. You couldn't call us black. You couldn't call us black. Well, you were going to fight, man. Don't you call me black? I'm a Negro. We didn't want that color. It didn't happen until 1968 when James said, "Say it loud." But before then, if you called me black, if you didn't refer to me as colored or a Negro, I was going to fight you.
Yep. Oh, so it was a derogatory phrase.
Oh, yeah.
Like the N-word is now.
It was self-hate. Right. It was just straight up self-hate.
Yeah. Identity crisis is what it was. Mm-hmm. And we were defined by, I think Smokey said it best. He did a poem about it.
Yeah, I saw that.
That somebody else will define who we are, and then we try to live up to that definition. Mm-hmm. In essence, that's what it was. But my whole concern and sounding the alarm, even though we may not care about the outcome of this little white boy, okay, we may not care, but somebody does. Somebody, a group of somebodies, will use this as a powder keg, to ignite their issues even that much further. And basically, like what the sheriff said in Kenosha, we here in Kenosha are cool. We ain't got no problems. People are still opening up their businesses and doing what they're doing. It's the people outside of Kenosha that have come here to make this bigger than what it is.
So what you're saying, Ron, is that the significance of this trial is that we need to be worried.
Yes. We need to be aware.
But worry does not, worry is not worth it at any price. Any price.
But okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Go to sleep? You're going to sit up here and let it happen?
Not worry about concentrate on what's important in our community, how we can improve our own community instead of worrying about this stupid white boy. That's just me, and I could be wrong. Maybe we should be worried, but I don't worry about shit like that.
What civil war is?
There's not going to be no civil war. People are too people are too introverted and they don't care about shit like that. They care about what's going on in their own lives, and they're too self-centered and concentrating on what's on their phone to have a civil war. That shit is way old. I'm telling you, young people.
No, I disagree with you. I disagree. I don't think the whole country is going to go into a civil war, but there are enough idiots to light the keg and get some bullshit started. And
like what
I want to try to.
What kind?
Hang on. I'm going to see if I can play this. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Okay. No.
Could you hear that?
No.
Oh shit. Okay, I got to figure out how to play this because there's a talk show host by the name of Dan Bongio. But he's a damn fool, and he's promoting what you're saying is not going to happen. He's telling people,
Talk show host. There's some bullshit.
but listen, there's enough of these guys. See, here's where you're a
I
little
don't take
bit
them
naive,
seriously.
and
They're just trying to get ratings. That's why I don't take them seriously.
of course. But when they got a following of 1 million people or 5 million people, they impact. What do you think that kid up there in Wisconsin? Why did he go there?
Man.
Somebody got in his head.
You know,
Okay, somebody gave him a message.
I just think people are smarter than that, Lee. I don't think they
not
they follow people
everybody.
blindly.
We talked about this before. Everybody can't process information the same way. I can say to you, Buckwild, XYZ. Now, there's 1,000 people that just heard that. They're going to interpret that a certain way, and you're going to interpret it a certain way. Maybe your ability is to process that and minimize it and accept it in a way that is safe. Another person, it's like a dog whistle to them.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. But Lee, people are like this all the time.
And that's where they're getting America. But that's where a lot of these people are getting that message from.
But I'm saying a lot of them. Device. I think most of them are doing bullshit that has nothing to do with anything important.
Some are, but don't minimize the possibility.
Look at TikTok.
Of course,
it's a prime example of just pure people just want to be entertained now as an escape from their lives.
This is
my personal opinion. I could be wrong.
I like that, and I'm not saying you wrong and you right to your opinion. That's cool, but a lot of times we call that back in the 70s. We used to call those things cop-outs, and so we got to put the cop-outs. Mm-hmm. We gotta structure them and put them, and just not rely on that. Well, people just want to be entertained. I want to cuss, but I'm not. That's BS. That's BS. And it's okay to have that. So since we know that is a possibility, then what do we do to go into entertaining them into what we need in the way that we need them to feel to move our people forward. It reminds me of reminds me of the Children's March in 1963 when the DJs on the radio, and I got the documentary, when the DJs were on the radio speaking in code.
Right, I remember that. Well, I remember hearing about it.
They were speaking in code to, as Lee said, those people that are being influenced or that can be influenced. Where's the code? Where's our own language to speak?
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
I got my hand up.
Hey, Lee, try this. Go ahead,
one.
Can you do my share?
Hey, y'all, I'll be back. I got to go get my baby from her basketball game.
But I want to say this before you leave, Professor.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Right quick. You and Buck are basically on the same page, just going down a different road.
Yes.
And both things that you guys are saying are truth, okay? But there's one thing that I truly believe in that's against what you guys are basically. See, I think this stuff only happens when we give them an ear and we give them power. They don't have the power that we're giving them. I just don't believe it. I see it. They don't have it. And the thing of it is that we don't do as African Americans is not demand. Just like when Hollywood and these look at all the TV commercials. Look at the shows that are popular on Netflix. Now they'll go out and they'll put a gang movie out or a TV show that does see how we're put into light is our biggest problem. and we don't demand to be put in family. We're not demanding it amongst ourselves as Black women and men. So that's where the problem starts, because we can't go out and ask somebody to respect us and give us some power that we don't even have amongst ourselves.
That's right.
The Black man and the Black woman is so far apart that it's criminal.
That's right. That's right.
That's
That's where the fight is.
That's where the fight is.
And here's the thing: when you break it down to when we learn about the elements in science, we learned that the smallest little element has what that neutron and proton, them atoms, and they got these little things that run around calling electrons. Yeah, right. But we do not get to think about our own nuclear families in that way. It's like mama's this, and we all separated doing some other kind of thing. We have to think about that smallest element, them elements. I mean,
and you know what? One thing is lost is families eating together at dinner. What happened to when families came together and sat around the dinner table? No phones, no TV, no nothing.
I'm in full agreement with you, but let me just interrupt respectfully.
Okay, go ahead.
Most of these people on this call, with the exception of you and I, are from Chicago. And
y'all.
Okay, let me say this before you walk out. Johnson Publishing gave us what we needed. Johnson Publishing Company gave us the blueprint.
Was that Ebony or Jet? I don't remember.
Both.
Okay.
Both. And that's why I was trying to get, I know Reggie's got to go and get his daughter.
Stay inside.
Okay. It's Ebony and Jet gave us the blueprint, and we lost it. We lost it because that's where we saw family. If you walked into the home of an African-American family, you were going to see the Ebony or the Jet magazine on a coffee table, on a kitchen table. You was going to see those magazines in that house. If you walked into the barbershop, you were going to see an Ebony or a Jet magazine. And we've lost that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Can you play this, Lee? I'm gonna play it.
Okay, hang on. Here we go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
You got to turn the audio on when you do the share.
I did that.
I don't know why it's not coming in.
Yeah, it's a full power, but we're not hearing it.
Yeah.
You guys go back and work on that. I want to finish making my point.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You know, we have to get equity back into our relationships as African Americans. We have to do it. And no one is addressing that.
We need to learn how to get along.
Yeah, we got to learn. Well, let me tell you something. Getting along is okay. I got to be totally honest with you. I don't know if my mom and daddy actually got along in a love relationship, but they got along to have a house together.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
They got along to that's what's wrong. You know, and I'm watching, and I'm not condemning Black women because I don't want to be housed by this, but they get on here and they got all of these filters on Facebook and they looking fabulous. Why come you ain't got no damn man? I mean, they changed. These women are looking beautiful, gorgeous, but you ain't got no man. And it's
because the attitude ain't right.
Well, but the thing of it is, it's almost like they're
not
proud
about
of
it.
it.
Yeah.
We gotta find out. Hold on, just a second.
Right.
We gotta find out what we're doing wrong to these Black women, these women of color, that they don't want to be with us. They are proud to be single. And they're embracing their children's kids. My grandmother helped raise me. When my mom had to work and I was out of school, I could go to my grandmother's house and stay for, all day, and she'd come pick me up or spend the weekend or whatever. But my grandparents didn't raise me. Okay. And I got to be honest with you, I'm getting a little sick of it. And I'm not sick of it because you're not taking care of the children, because children need care and leadership. I'm sick of the excuses. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is, it's okay to take it. These kids do need love. Everybody needs love.
But
it's almost like now this is the excuse. I can't find out how to have a good relationship. And this is on both sides, but more the women, I have to just say, than the men, because most of the time men ain't ended up with these kids.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, they keep bringing this situation to the table that keeps us in this single mode. Then what Hollywood does is turn around and then they use us and they keep putting us back into this segment where we're drug dealers or we're doing something. We're being everything but daddy. Nas X can get on TV rocking on a horse like he having sex. They put that all over the channel. That they can be on TV with fingernail polish on.
Okay, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Because you've been going for a while here. I just want to say, I think, and this is from recent experience, very recent. I think one of the huge problems that we have, black men and black women, is that black women have gotten used to being with just them and their kids, and when they do get a man in their life, they treat him like a child.
Well, I'm not here to blame them. I hear what you're saying, because it's just as much the man's fault. I've done it in a marriage that I was in. I messed up. But the fact of the matter is we can't seem to find the middle ground. Bring me out. Bring Buck out. We can't find the middle ground. I like looking at Buck.
Because I'm pretty. That's this pretty nigga right here.
He don't get much airtime, so I just give it,
That's way too much orange to be just having. He's making my eyes bleed right now.
He do remind you of color bars. He do.
Hey, man, I was waiting for Buck to do the perp walk.
Yeah,
Don't hate.
You can keep me in a group. Keep me in the group. But my thing is this.
You're center stage.
Yeah, my thing is this. We have to, it's not just the woman's fault, it's the man's fault too, because we want to be players. And then we keep getting the entertainment industry putting us in that lead. If our men ain't ministers, they're drug dealers or players. It just seems like we can't find what was the Beaver's daddy's name? I'm gonna leave it to Beaver.
Ward.
Where the hell is Ward Cleaver in the black community? Where is Desi Arnaz in the black community? Where's Ricky?
He's out there. He's out there, but he's not getting any air. But he's not getting any airtime because he's taking care of his business.
Well, and also too. The black family has been a matriarchy for a very, very long time.
But it's only when we expose it. Huh? That's why I'm going back talking about Ebony and Jet and the Johnson Publishing Company. Then all of a sudden they got competition. Hold on. They got competition from Essence. And then when Essence came into play, they started putting the female out there and pulled back on the man. See, Johnson products, they had the products for the men's hair and for the women's hair. All of a sudden, Essence comes in, and now it's all the women with the long flow. Where was the man? And I'm not saying they didn't.
The man wasn't spending the same kind of money that the woman was spending.
That's exactly it. And that happens. That's not just in the black community. That's across
all
the board.
Around. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. But the bigger problem, and Mike, you know this. You know what I'm about to say. We don't own the media.
Right.
Enough of it.
We don't hold enough. You're right, because that's what I'm saying.
So the message is not going to be heard. There's no revolution. We have
to give Mr. Johnson the credit.
And you know what? And Byron Alley lost his bid for Meredith when he was trying to buy those that group of TV stations. He lost the bid to Gray Television.
Let me say this about Byron Allen. What he's done has been remarkable.
It really has.
But on the other side, it's not about promoting. All of those info shows don't do anything to promote us. Now, he can't do that because, like I said, once again, that's marketing, and you have to do what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Angel G's on here. She says, you all are very attractive men. I don't see any of you having problems finding women. It's not the fact of finding a woman. It's about having family portrayed in media.
And when we find them, they want to treat us like children. Sorry.
Well, the thing of it is, before we jump to that part, and I don't want to point a finger at women. What I want to point a finger is the standard. Because this stuff that we talking about with Rittenhouse ain't gonna go no dang where. He'll probably end up getting pardoned with peanut butter and jelly. You know who peanut butter and jelly is? Peanut butter and jelly are the two turkeys that Biden's going to pardon next Thursday. Look it up. I'm telling the truth. I'm not making up the name. That's the two names of the turkeys.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
They both get a pass, though, right?
And it's funny that you know that, Mike.
I just read it.
Yeah, no,
let me say the following. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry, doctor, but let me say the following. I go back to what Mike said about growing up in a household where you had Ebony and Jet, for example. My grandparents had the exact same Ebony and Jet. In fact, in my grandparents' house, going through the attic, I found it was actually called Negro Digest.
It was
back in the day before it was.
What?
Jet.
Yeah,
yes,
it was
sir.
Negro Digest.
Wow, I did not know that. Wow.
Exactly. So having that, also encyclopedias was in my home and my grandparents' home.
The world
home
book.
too,
And your
my home
parents.
too.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Don't forget your thought, Chris. Our parents had to borrow money to buy them. Those books were like $800 or $900. We didn't even know that they were buying those books. You come in, next thing you know, and if they had a little extra money, they got Britannica.
I didn't even know they were that expensive. Damn.
Yeah, those were $800 and $900.
Right.
That was a lot of money back in the day.
Back
Man,
then.
it was serious
money.
That was a small mortgage.
I know, right? So
That's why my parents, I'd ask them a question, they go, look it up.
Right. But that's what
That's what
they're
those
supposed
damn
to tell you to
encyclopedias
do.
for, yeah.
exactly.
But
My point on all of this is the fact that the information that we got through our parents and through our grandparents and extended family is because we had family. We had extended people in our lives who provided all of that. And so again, we didn't have this for our children to be raised on, whether it was this or television. We had parents that were hands-on. You went to bed at a certain time, you ate at a certain time. It was structured. Now, just because you do the mattress mambo and 9 months later, a lady's pregnant, does not make her mother instinct. She's not have some you're not even maternal. Not all women are maternal. Same with men not being paternal.
And they're not ready to be parents. A lot of them are not ready to be parents. Yeah.
Right, you have to have it or not. And like I said, anybody do the mattress mambo, I encourage that. But from the standpoint of responsibility and bringing somebody into the world, whole different conversation.
Yeah.
And so the leadership that we talked about earlier, what the professor said about leadership being thoroughly compromised, I totally agree with that. Leadership comes back to what Buck was saying, it starts from home.
Yeah.
That's where it starts from. So if nobody can tell you right or wrong from right, you wouldn't know which one's left or right.
Right.
It's somebody that instructs you for that. Yeah. Now, once again, with certain parents, no offense, certain parents, I ain't here to be your friend to your children. I'm not as a parent, I'm not here a child. You are not my equal. But unfortunately, you've seen it with certain parents. They won't go out to the club. They want to go out and do God knows what with their children. You are not buddies. You are a parent, act like one. But if you don't know, and you don't mean paternal, or maternal, you just don't know it. And so when you have these children, a lot of these children they have to raise themselves. If you think about it,
they don't have to.
They don't have to, but it happens.
It happens because we don't take the time, whether you're with them or not, you got to put the time. See, the thing of it is, child support has spoiled a lot of that because it's the first thing that happens is, okay, you're in denial because you broke up with the woman. Okay, so ain't my child, whatever the case may be. So now she got to take you to court. Now she takes you to court, it's just getting worse. I mean, it goes into a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. Okay, you don't like him, he don't like you, you don't talk. And now, here's another thing. When your mother and her friends talked about your daddy, they didn't do it in front of you. They didn't do it in front of you. You come in the house, what you want? I'm trying to get some Kool-Aid and some water. Well, get that water, get back outside. Now the kid walks in the house hearing his mama saying, and I'm sorry to say this, but this is just how they said, your daddy ain't shit.
Or better yet, you're just like your daddy. You ain't
And
shit.
you look like your damn daddy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to put a pin in this part of the show, and then go over to Dr. Ron, because he has a topic that we've been trying to get to for a couple of weeks now. And so before it becomes an oldie but goodie, Ron, let it rip.
Yeah. I was following some of the results from some of the people that have began to, get consequences from the January 6th insurrection. They talked about the guy that got 41 months on the media today. He called himself the QAnon shaman. There were other people that have taken plea bargains and have been, what the media has said, been given extreme consequences for their involvement. And many of the things, when you plead guilty with the Fed, you have to, say you sorry and all those other things. So there's been a lot of that going on. But one person in particular, when I was doing my research, I found a report from September the 2nd. The feds have in custody the first Black man to be arrested for alleged role in the Capitol attack. Well, there were many people of color that were involved, because this is not even the person that they had standing in the chamber. Nobody still have discovered what this man's name is. So he's so far on the radar, he can't even be discovered as of yet. I'm sure the Fed will find him eventually. But this person in particular has a name of Uali Heya. Okay, that's a very hard name to pronounce. And this young man, um, the 45-year-old Silver Springs, Maryland resident, was charged with assaulting, resisting, and impeding certain officers, as well as engaging in physical violence in the restricted building or grounds and civil disorder. Now, he got arrested and has been in jail since he got arrested. Come to find out, this young man was on parole, 45 years old. And when they found out that he had committed all these violent acts at the Capitol, they immediately violated his parole. So he's still in jail. So it's kind of crazy that you've got issues and situations with the court system already in place. And then you decide, okay, I'm going to be a part of overthrowing the government. Okay. And then you go down to the mob, and you get out there and you trying to outdo some of the other guys involved in the mob. Okay. But to me, it's insane that you would even go down there and be a part of this foolishness. This guy, it's not like, okay, when we study Black history, okay, we know that the first Black man that was killed in the Revolutionary War was Crispus Attucks. Am I right? We got some educated people on here. So why would this person want to be a Crispus Attucks at this event? You know what I'm saying? He wants to go out there and be the first Black man. Well, he's the first one arrested. Anyway, I'm sure they're going to get the rest of them. But this guy, he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been a part of it. He had more reason to stay at home than most. Well,
he's a dumb criminal.
Look,
I was just going to say, Ron, look at my face.
Look, he should have said to himself, I got paper on me. I don't need to be over here doing nothing crazy with no mob.
He should have been home
Okay.
smoking weed.
And watching it on TV.
Ron, I'm gonna say this to you. God's greatest gift to you is giving you air to breathe and waking you up every morning. Why the hell are we talking about this dude?
Well, the reason why we're talking about this dude, because we're talking about the bigger event, not just specifically him, but the event itself. There are people that are now facing consequences from this event.
Oh,
Okay. So now,
You know what? At least I'm glad you said. When I say it, I get in trouble. But I mean, you know,
you get in trouble for everything anyway.
yeah, exactly.
Go
Yeah,
outside. Just messing with you, bub.
yeah, but you
No,
know,
but Ron, I'm serious. I mean, this is what I was talking about with this whole Rittenhouse story.
and
See,
I heard
the
you.
thing of we keep giving them credit as far as I'm concerned, and like Professor apologized, and I want to say the same thing to Chris. I'm not talking about you talking about it or bringing it up. Same thing with you, Ron. I'm just saying these are the see, to me, I don't think any of this stuff carries. I don't think it carries anything. I think
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But that's a personal opinion.
Yeah, I think it doesn't, and it does. I think it matters from the standpoint of there are people stupid enough to do these dumb acts. Right. Now, the media is going to cover this because it's a legal situation. These people tried to overthrow the government.
Right.
They went into the Capitol building for one purpose.
Why are you explaining that to me?
Well, but I'm just, I'm not talking directly to you, but I'm kind of answering your concern to a certain degree. But I know you know, but there are people out there that are listening to us right now and will be listening tomorrow on the replay or the next day or the next day. And they're going to have an interest in some of these stories that we're talking about because it is at the top of the news.
Funny you say that, Lee. You know what? Sometimes I think the media gets it wrong. They go after shit that they think that the general public will be interested in, and come to find out,
I think some of the media outlets
really care.
do that.
I'm talking about like the majors. Like when I see Lester Holt covering some of this stuff, you know, I love Lester Holt. He's a brother. He's from the hometown. But I'm like, nigga, you know you don't care about none of this bullshit. Please.
Well, that's the bad comparison because that's his job.
Yeah,
right. No, true.
And he doesn't have the authority or the ability to.
I'm not going to
pick and choose.
He's not managing editor. That's true.
Right.
But I'm just like, come on. I know you don't care about this. You know we don't care about this. Why are you reporting on this? That's why David Muir's kicking your ass right now.
But I'm not sure.
Again, it's not his decision.
Right. But I'm not. I think it was Chris that said this earlier. You know, the thing of it is we can't control the narrative. And that's what's really sad about the situation. But I just don't believe we need to give it any more. See, I don't believe, I don't know who said about the Civil War. Poppycock.
I did.
You said that. Okay.
I said that,
Poppycock.
yes.
Okay.
I thought that was Ron, but great.
I thought that was Professor. I'm sorry. But anyway.
I said it. I said it.
Okay.
Civil War.
Poppycock. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. I've been down here for 12 years. And you know, I come out of marketing and media and studying people and been in a lot of researches with Coleman and a lot of these and the Jacobs brothers. And those guys are smart as hell. Lee knows who I'm talking about. Fred Jacobs and his family with Jacobs Media and Coleman. I mean, I see, and I'm watching these studies and Strategic out there where he just retired
anyway
in DC. Just hold on. And my thing is, in these situations, you know, you find what's perceived is not what's reality. That's what I was trying to get to. What's perceived is not reality. I'm looking at, and I moved 45 minutes out of the Metroplex in Dallas, and I'm basically in the country. And when I'm seeing at Walmart and Target, ain't nothing to be afraid of. And I'm saying that respectfully. I'm mincing my words, but ain't nothing to be afraid of because that audience that Bannon and everybody wants to charge and get them riled up, the only power, they got one thing, guys, over us. And this audience that's listening to this show, they got one thing, one index finger. They vote.
Good
They
perk.
vote.
Good perk.
They vote. Their houses. When you see a trailer park, welcome back, Professor. When you see a trailer park that ain't got single trailers, ain't got double wides, they're the trailers that you pull on the back of your car, and that's somebody's house, and it ain't none of us living up in there. You shaking your head. There's a house down the street from my community that's sitting at a 90-degree angle. And I see people go in and out of that building every day. They put more into dogs than they put into their own personal lives. And that's the part that just aggravates me. Because I'm saying we giving not this panel, but I think in the country, and that's why Bannon went to him and said, he basically said that this guy does a cheat sheet, a rag magazine to these guys, and he says they got no voice.
That's true. And that was the whole strategy, and that's who they targeted.
They targeted them.
Yeah, absolutely. He woke them up.
Yeah.
And brought them to the forefront. And what's crazier than that is these dumbass Republicans that are our representatives in the House and the Senate. They're punks. They're a bunch of, I'm trying to be nice. They're a bunch of flimsies because they let this media pimp them out and take them away from doing the right thing for the people in this country.
Well, but he was
he's still the leader. He lost, y'all. He lost by what, 7 or 8 million votes. Yeah. Why are you still following a fucking loser?
Because they want him to come back.
Because you don't have anybody else that has an IQ 2 points above plant life.
No, but he's the listen.
That's the problem.
But he's the leader of the Republican Party, and watch.
He shouldn't be.
He's coming back. He's going.
They should have run away from him like he was.
But they're not going to run away from him
COVID-19.
Right, but he's the only person, Lee, that's speaking for them.
That's a sad commentary right there.
Sad commentary.
That's sad.
And also, the other Republicans are scared of him. They're scared.
Hold on, Buck.
That's all.
We were talking about ministers going to funerals.
Yeah.
Okay. How come ministers aren't going to other programs? I mean, I love Reverend Jackson. Can he speak right now?
It's hard.
The last couple of events that I've seen him at, he
spoke yesterday, the day before.
No, listen, yeah. Frank Ski had him on KISS this morning, and it's hard to understand what he's saying.
That's my point.
Parkinson's.
Can I address what Mike just said?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike brought out a valid point that there is a demographic and a group of people, that are not concerned about what's going on in those demographics. Okay. What you got going on and what you're aware of and what you hold on to, what you choose to believe is what you believe. You hold on to that.
Right.
But there are people out here that we have to be aware of
that are dangerous.
That are part of the same mentality of the group of people, including this idiot who had the warrant on him, or that was on probation, out here with a purpose. Even though it was a lie that they were standing on, they believed everything that was told to them to the point where they were willing to commit murder, vandalism, damage, and all the things that they did on that day. And they're still willing to do it.
What are you talking about, Ron?
I'm talking about the same shit that we were talking about in the damn beginning, okay?
What are you saying?
For to clarify, nigga, just answer the fucking question.
Hold on. That African American man that they have arrested, that was at the insurrection may not have been there for any other reason that, hey, screw the government. Or I've been locked up and I feel like I've been violated. So it may not be about Trump at all. It could. He may have had his own agenda. We won't know that until everything is over and until it's in court, maybe.
Right.
Oh,
So,
man.
and I guarantee you, there was 500 different reasons why a lot of those people were out there. Go ahead, Professor.
I mean, he'd have been in good shape if it had went through. You know, he made
He'd have been in power, huh?
Yeah,
he made a bad investment.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Exactly.
There will always be those of us that's gonna do that. You know, whenever the revolution is going, right? And when some go out and then they make the call, well, what blacks was there? And you know, you're gonna always have that one person. Well, yeah, Mike was there, Ron was there, Master, even Buck was there. He was there too. They was all there, Master. I ain't go though. Well, how you know?
Right.
You know,
the good thing they were only.
You know, they all be talking that old crazy. You know, they be talking all that old revolution stuff. You know, so Master, you can't trust him, but you can trust me though, because I'm going with you, Master.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, they get broke off. I mean, come on, they get something out of it. I mean, there's one thing about us now. We know game recognize game.
Yeah,
if we there, we got something out that deal.
Yeah.
But you do realize that this thing has not lost momentum. There was a group that just recently showed up at some airport waiting on JFK to show up, and JFK been dead.
Yeah.
You know,
but
so,
see,
I mean,
again, guys, that's what I keep telling you.
Yeah.
The message is being told by other crazy ass people speaking to soft-minded people, and they go with it. I mean, I saw that story that you're talking about, and it was at a concert. It was at the Rolling Stones concert that JFK and some other dead folks are supposed to show up.
That's what mushrooms do when you do mushrooms.
I'm saying. So between being a little soft in the head and you're a conspiracy theorist, type person, it's not hard to understand why there's so much bullshit in the air.
I've always wanted to try mushrooms, by the way.
Look,
Never have.
Now imagine this. These same soft in the head people got guns.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to use them.
They registered.
And just like this kid up there in Wisconsin sitting on the witness stand trying to act like he's crying and making an ugly face. Did anybody see any tears? I looked.
Not a one.
I wasn't
it's
watching.
all an act, man.
Looked like he was on an episode of The Young and the Restless. I turned that off.
I wasn't watching.
It was a mess.
But that's okay. Y'all demographic don't care what happened,
That's just not interesting to me. It's like,
but that's okay. But there are people.
I got other problems in my life to worry about.
There is a demographic that exists like you, and that's okay. But what I'm trying to say is that we still need to be conscious of the fools with the gun. Okay,
I think we should, but we got to understand that we got to register to vote, and we can go get a gun just like everybody else. There are no rules in the Constitution right now that gives them power over us that we can't do. We got to get out of this lazy state of mind. See, the thing of it is, it's like last week they said Drake bought a $5 million watch. Why is that a freaking conversation?
That just proves he's a freaking idiot.
Yeah, and what kind of watch was it? What kind of watch was it?
I don't give a damn what kind of watch was it.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I know you are.
It's just like allegedly down in Houston, the night of the terrible accident there in Houston at the concert, people were killed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Allegedly, Drake and some of the other rappers went to a strip club and dropped $1 million.
Yeah, making it rain.
So dumbasses are alive and well.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you got. You cannot justify to me to go into a strip club and drop $1 million. I don't care if it was 5 guys or 1 guy.
Yeah.
$1 million in a strip
Yep.
club. You
It's
are
stupid. Right. But let me tell you,
You
know
are
what's funny?
fucking nuts.
Hey, but you know what's funny? These guys, and I don't understand the mentality either, but what I've
Say
been
it.
told
Say it.
is that when they go into the strip club, these guys are trying to outdo other dudes by
And
making it
they're
rain.
influencers. That's
But
why
that's
they're
how
called
stupid they
influencers.
are.
I think it's so stupid myself, but I'm
It's
just like,
stupid, but guys,
There's no justification for it.
it's called influencing.
why are you trying
And
to impress
there's-
other guys, though?
But hold on,
Impress the women if you're going to do that.
Because when their record drops, when they get in a movie, it's the same thing that Ron's talking about, being careful about watching these idiots. Because all it takes is one of them just to do something really dumb, and everybody's watching them. See, we live in that influencers world now. So when you do something, it just sets off a keg of explosives.
But
Yeah.
you're right. And then the next young mind that saw them do that, they're going to try to repeat it and
Yes.
overdo what that
Yes.
was.
And that's
But
just
why
so
not?
stupid.
Why not take that $1 million or the $5 million and go out and improve some schools, feed some hungry people, get some people off of the streets?
They might get the call.
And but you know what?
Yeah,
like,
right.
but
They might get the call.
the rapper that was just killed, Young Dolph, he was having a turkey giveaway just this weekend, and he was gunned down yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
It's
like
like-
Well,
well,
that's sad.
some cookies.
Buying some cookies.
Listen, without, and we done said this before, with all the wealth that has been, it's just amazing that we have so much wealth and can't do nothing with the wealth. I mean, with the riches.
Yeah.
We have so many riches and we can't, and we still have a lot of problems. It's just amazing.
It's stupid.
You know, I mean,
Totally.
but you can't. It's like this. It's like this. Okay. All right. I'm on their stage. I'm on their stage, and I'm being paid well to stay on the stage because whatever they're paying me, they're making 10 times over that.
Right.
And
It
so
is.
all of a sudden now I get this humanistic idea. And so then the call comes. Say, well, boy, what are you trying to do? What you want to do? We don't want you to do that, boy. We want you to do this. We want you to glorify this, that, and the other. So the boy gonna fall in line because you're not a man when you're on that stage. You can have all the great talent, but you can be all of everything, and they can shut you down. They can make you, or the elite can just pull the plug on you right away. And there are not many artists or celebrities or whatever you would call, they're not going to risk that. Because that's why they put that fame on you. They put that fame on you so it could be the chain that keeps you to them. Ain't nobody giving up nothing. Where's a black bank that's been started by the entertainers?
Nowhere to be found.
I'm still waiting for Greenwood to get up and running down in Atlanta. I signed up over a year ago. Where's the bank? Come on, Killer Mike.
And
Let me tell you something. I'm going to keep repeating it. The power is in the vote. And Stacey Abrams proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And it worked, and it can work across the country, but we have to embrace what's before us. We got to get out of this influencer mindset. And I'm going to say this, Ron, because I know sometimes, and you admitted the other day, you like radio, but sometimes you just don't want to talk about it all the time. And we try to not to bring it up too much. I'm sorry. I let you
Oh, it's too late. What the fuck you shushing for?
Yeah, damn.
What the fuck you shushing for? Fuck that. You know you don't like no goddamn radio.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
Sorry.
talk about some shush.
Oh
Damn,
yeah.
Chris.
What
Chris, you
what
supposed to
kind of
put something over my mouth or something. Damn.
No, I ain't no.
that wasn't me.
Oh man, that's a damn shame. Okay, that's just like cheating on your woman with a rock hard, you know what, in front of her. Hey, it wasn't me.
It wasn't. It wasn't me.
It
You
wasn't
know?
me.
That was Abe. That was Abe and Lee. That wasn't me. You know. But you know, I love what you're saying. You know, influence. And I had a person on my show this week, and I got to say this. To me, when this guy went out and talked about that whatever watch it was, and then the hip hop artist I had on my show, he gave a testimony on how when all of them dudes came through Jacksonville, Mississippi, they got jacked.
You mean Jackson, Mississippi?
Yeah, Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi. He said that's why they
Jack
call
and
it
Jackson.
the Jack.
Yeah.
Because these guys, they know what they had, and when they got there, they said, "Y'all got to get that up."
Right.
And I said,
Ante up.
"Really?" He said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, man. You know, when they got here, they got jacked, and when they left there, they canceled the show because they got jacked." Okay. So when they do stupid stuff like you say, or whatever $50 million watch, now when they go someplace and they get jacked, they can't blame nobody but
themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. But
Now, is it right? No. I'm not
Right.
saying that it's right. I mean, hear him say
Right.
that. You know,
because they want to jack that watch that he's got on his arm for $5 million.
Man,
But see, again, if he took those same dollars
and
and
did something
put it
positive.
in, absolutely, nobody's going to jack you for that.
Everybody
You
had
know?
a picture of him looking at this watch.
Right.
I was nothing you could see in the watch this show that was worth $5 million.
Right.
Exactly. Now,
y'all,
if I had unlimited money and
y'all know Billy Preston made a song.
Willie
we
go
go
around
around
the
in circles,
See, and he made that one too, but he made another one. You know, our community.
nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
You know, you my man.
You gotta have something.
If you want to be with me.
That's right.
Oh,
Now you know you my man, Lee Michaels. Now you know you called it out. So you know, nothing from nothing leaves. Now, somebody got to put something on the table if we gonna go somewhere. But
That's
that's all
right.
I'm saying.
But
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's all we all saying, and that's a good thing. But if you try to put something on the table, they gonna get the call.
Mm.
Mhm.
The
Reggie
call gonna
Hudlin,
come in.
Reggie Hudlin is a good friend of mine. He's from East St. Louis. He just, the Grammys and all these shows, he's the producer. And I'm saying, you from East St. Louis. I know you can't put all your energy. That's good they letting you direct or produce the Grammys and the other award shows. But you got a story to tell right there. See, when you don't tell, we got to have those stories. I was cross-eyed when 50 Cent, what was his last thing he just did? He just had some
BMF or something. That thing.
Black Mafia Family.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you putting those shows out?
And it's garbage. It's a straight up garbage.
It ain't as bad as the Temptations record, is it?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. You talking about the one with smoking?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is the craziest record ever.
Ever
I
in
heard
all
that
my
record.
50 years.
Oh
If you
man.
haven't heard it, that was the craziest record I had ever heard.
Oh,
I
it
know.
was.
It's sad. It's sad.
And 50 Cent show is just as bad. It go right up there with that.
But the
But
power,
No, it's
the
not.
power,
No.
But
the power
listen,
series it was actually good.
Listen,
Power
Yeah.
was good, but there's a time and a place. We don't need them over and over and over. Okay, you got
That's
shot
all he
9
knows.
times.
That's all he knows.
Okay, well, but he just because that's hey, you know what I started out doing? All I know, I'm an EMT. I've driven ambulances. I had a limousine. And
That's
cab
not all you know,
company.
though. Driving is not
That's
all you
my
know.
whole point. But that's what I'm saying. You can expand your role.
Right.
I've been on the air.
Now, Mike, the guy that you mentioned from East St. Louis, you know this guy?
Reginald
Original
Hudlin.
Hudlin.
I was she was
Let's get him on the
producer.
show.
She
Let's
If
do
we
it.
can get him, I mean, he's like he's be ducking and dodging. I mean, if he sees this, I'm not telling any bad things about him. And I'm saying there's a book called Race Riots of East St. Louis, 1917, and it basically talks about how blacks were brought up from the South. The reason you have the industrial swing between Kansas City, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Detroit, and Chicago was because white folks were striking against those companies. And they went and got blacks and brought them up here to work. That's why that whole little band there, Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, Kansas City, and St. Louis, all got GM plants, Loonmore plants, all the plants.
Yeah.
Most of our goods and services are built right in that corridor in
true.
the Midwest.
yeah.
You know, it's you know, the question was asked earlier, what's the message that we should be putting out about what we're seeing and what's going on? You know, and we are sounding the alarm. You know, we are making people aware, those that are like you, that are aware of it, but you said don't affect you and you don't care about hearing about it. But we still need to sound, hey baby,
Look,
how
that's a
you
little
doing?
professor.
Yeah.
Hey, little professor.
Look, we hear about you. We pray for you because we know who your daddy is.
But that's okay. That's what we want black people to see. That's what he would have got his daughter.
Yes.
See, this is the kind of shit that'll make me cry. That's what I want to see. I want to see no damn black mafia family. This is what I want to see.
Oh,
Let me hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta say this. I would feel the same way you would feel, Mike, but I got a chance to interview the showrunner, Randy Huggins, and we were on for a half an hour. Once again, everybody has options to see what they want to see. We had this conversation before about talking about black cinema of weeks back. When he was able to take that story of the Flenory brothers and bring it to 50 Cent, you don't have to like it. Again, it goes back to the Ghost and what he's going to do with that, the Ghost Book 2, and has other characters having their own series, and now with the BMF. There's other things out there, obviously, besides that. You don't have to like it. Once again, having the insight to having interviewed the man, I get where he's coming from a creative perspective and a writing perspective.
And if you don't like it, Mike, you ain't got to watch it. You know that.
But my thing is,
but check this out though. Oh, and then I'm gonna get out of there. But listen, we've
look
seen
at that right there. That'll make you cry right there. Look at that. She loved that. She right there.
Look, we've seen this before though. This is 40 years ago. We dealt with Superfly.
Right.
We dealt with Coffee. Don't y'all get upset when I say Pam Grier, but it's nothing but
Sweetback.
It's nothing but black exploitation.
Pam Grier.
That's all it is. But see, and like I said, we need to be fighting to make better quality.
That's all I'm saying.
And you have that when you go to Netflix or Prime Video. We have it.
Let me tell you something. When was the last time you was on Netflix? When was the last time you was on Netflix, Chris?
Last weekend watching Passing.
I want you the next time you go, watch how many African movies are on there.
There's a lot of African movies on Netflix.
A lot.
My baby,
There's African movies on there.
A lot of African movies on there.
They're like really good.
They're good.
Like African.
That's my niece right there, everybody. That's my niece right there.
Well,
also,
you mean African, like
right
from Africa? Africa?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Because what's called it? It's Nollywood.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They have, the whole Netflix. I ain't never seen so many African movies in my life. Now, the only downside to it is a lot of it have some of the same actors in a lot of the movies.
Oh,
who saw Harder They Fall, though?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Did you guys like it?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. I recommend it.
This shit was so violent. Oh goodness, it was violent.
That's the
If it wasn't for
cowboy.
the ending,
I'm going
Yes,
to
sir.
get us something to eat. I'll see y'all when I get home.
All
All
right.
right,
All right,
bro.
Love
buddy.
you, Professor.
Well,
Love you.
Take
We're
care.
gonna,
bye,
we're
baby
gonna wrap it
girl.
up. We're gonna
All
wrap
right.
it
Baby
up.
girl.
We got to get disciplined here. This is going to be a 2-hour show moving forward, getting ready
thank you. Oh,
for our TV debut shortly. So, guys, you gotta speed it up and get it all in
I
2
think
hours.
we done said what we gonna say. That was,
I know. I'm saying.
Not,
It's that fool with the flashlight.
yeah, but we got to give them a precursor because next Thursday is going to be Thanksgiving, so
Right.
we're gonna do something.
are we gonna be on Thanksgiving?
Ron will.
What? It's
No.
it's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
I think
Let's
I'll
just-
probably be sleepy, but I mean, okay.
If
Yeah,
I'm up,
but
I'll do it. I don't have a
I
problem.
think we're talking about doing a holiday pre-record or something. I think
You want to do something maybe Tuesday or Wednesday?
That's cool. Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about it. But hey,
Yeah.
oh, by
Yeah.
the way, on Thanksgiving, I'll be making my Atlanta debut. Okay, my first time on
On
the
what?
air on FM in Atlanta.
Doing what?
What station?
I'll be on a 104.1 Kiss FM.
Oh, good for you. Congratulations.
I know it's about damn time, right?
Yeah,
What
congratulations.
what group is that? Is that Radio 1?
Cox.
Cox. Okay.
Oh,
What
yeah,
shift,
yeah.
what day?
Cox Media
What
Group.
shift are you gonna be doing? What are you doing?
Just us fill in weekends.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Tell
good.
Terry
Get your
I
foot
said
in the
hey.
door.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations.
Right.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Oh Lord.
No, we can wait. Yeah,
No.
This won't
Get
last.
Get a load of
what
them.
you say? What you say, Mike? This too shall pass.
I'm gonna I'm gonna show them what real radio's like.
No, you're gonna go in there and do what they tell you to
Kick
do, so
ass.
you
I'm
keep
gonna
that
kick
damn
ass.
job.
I'm gonna kick ass. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do.
Don't,
And then-
don't call none of the listeners to the N word because you know that kind of is in your vocabulary.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here again tonight, and thank you to our viewers who have been here and they're loyal. They come in every week, and we love you. We appreciate you. Now, before we go, and I'm gonna take myself out of the mix here. This is what I want y'all to do. Subscribe, no matter what platform you're watching us on right now. Subscribe to that platform. Like us and share it to your friends because we are trying to grow this and we're going to be on Roku real soon, as soon as we work out a couple more technical issues. And we're trying to grow this and we need your help. All right. So if you do that, that'll help us all out and make stars out of us and you, because we'll grow with you. You grow with us. God bless all of you. Be safe. And we'll see you next Thursday. Maybe we'll find out. We'll see you next week sometime. All right. So thank you guys again for being here. Love you all and good night and be safe.